Alright, so I'm just going to create a plane just like I did a second ago. Let's just jump around a little bit and start creating this. So we need it to be pretty big, and the top viewport, you can see it's, you know, it's covering a lot of ground. So let's pull this right out over it, and let's just jump back into a normal view. So this is getting to be a pretty big scene now, and I don't think that I have enough geometry on this, so let's change the amount of segments to say 300 by 300. Actually, we might need a bit more than that, so 700 by 700, say. That looks a bit nicer. Obviously, this is going to cause our machines to slow down quite a bit. So if your machine is starting to chug at this point, you know, take it down. It's also difficult to see with all of this geometry around, but I'm going to try and stick with it for now. So I need to come back in here, and I need to create that, put that noise modifier on it as well. Let's add some noise. Let's do 10 by 10. Let's have a look how that looks. So this is even chugging on my machine as well. So I'm gonna have to really drop that down. So back down to the plane level. Let's knock it to 200 by 200 for the moment. So it might not look as good, but we can up that later on. So this, I need to increase the strength quite a bit, it seems. So maybe by 200 by 200. Let's have a look. Wow. Okay, so it's looking a little bit crazy. Not exactly what I was after. So let's start taking some of this stuff down, making it a bit more smooth. And tell you what I might do actually. Let's take all these back up to 100, and I'm just going to increase the scale because this is so big. You know, we can get a smoother one if we just increase the scale, and then I've got more control over my Y and Z, so I can really start to push this quite a bit. I really want to show you guys this car over some pretty crazy terrain, so that's maybe a bit too crazy, but that looks about it. Let's have a look. So this is pretty hectic. I mean, the car in general I don't think could actually cope with this much stuff, this sort of terrain, but we'll give it a go. So like I said, you know, the conform space warp does have a bit of an issue, so I'm just going to push this way below the 0 plane, and that's going to make our car drop down and snap to it, but that should be fine. You know, that should be cool. I'm just going to jump to a left viewport to see if anything's actually going over. So this one's over just a little bit on the 0, and I'm just going to drop that down. Okay, with all of that done, that's all set up really nicely, and we can start to think about how we can get the car to stick to the ground. To do that, I need to create another plane. So in my top viewport, I'm going to create another plane with not as many segments, just with say 2 and 2, and let's just drag that out. That's perfect. We do need segments on this because we need, you'll see when we get to it, but I need to be able to position the car on it correctly. So with that done, let's just do Shift and A on that one, that base control that we've got for it, the root control, and let's increase some of the length of this. So I think it was 390, right? Not 190, 390, and I think that was about what, so 190 is way too much, but that's fine. Let's just bring it in a little bit. So 150 should be good. I'm going to try and hug the car a little bit more with this, so let's do 375. That looks a bit better. Alright, cool. So that's the car one set up. And we need one for each of the wheels as well, so I'm just going to, let's change the color of this so we can actually see it. Let's make this say a purple, and let's move this one across. So I'm holding down Shift, just clicking and dragging, making a copy of it. I'm going to make these green, different sort of green to our controllers though, and let's do Shift and A and just align it to this controller. Not, there you go. And we need to change the sizes of these by quite a bit, so let's scale this down to 50, and I think the other one was 25. That fits pretty much perfectly for what we need for our tire. And I'm going to duplicate this, so hold down Shift, click and drag, I'll get another 3 copies. And let's just move this down just for a second so I can do some quick aligns. So Shift and A on these, quickly aligning it to the controllers. And on the rear one as well. It's cool. And let's just move this back up to 0. Alright, cool. So this is the basic setup, and this is these objects that we've created, all the planes, they're going to conform to the landscape below. So let me just drop in the conform space warp. So let's go create space warps, geometric and deformable if you're not already on it, and we need to do conform, so let's just create that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit Shift and A, and it's just going to align it up to this point. That's fine. And that's pretty much all in place. I'm going to link this in the hierarchy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it onto this one here. So I'm not using the third one in, which is the bind to space warp. I'm just going to actually link it up so that when this car moves along, it's going to come along with it. Not that you need to, it's just I like to be able to find stuff pretty easily wherever the car is. I want to have all of its controls and space warps along with it. So I think for this lesson that's probably enough setup time, and we can go on the next lesson and actually get this to start conforming the planes that we've got underneath the car to the geometry below.